Miles Davis, the enigmatic trumpeter, is a legend, but his influence goes beyond the music itself. From his pioneering of modal jazz to his embrace of electric instruments, he bridged the gap between genres and left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape. Today on Jazz Inspires, we explore the evolution of a musical icon and the legacy he left behind. One note, one rebellion, and one revolution at a time. Miles Davis was born in 1926 in Alton, Illinois, and raised in East St. Louis. His early immersion in music set the stage for a career that would forever change jazz. At 18, he moved to New York City, enrolling at Juilliard, but spending most of his time in Harlem clubs, where the real schooling happened. It was here that he met and began playing with saxophone virtuoso Charlie Parker. Parker's lightning-fast improvisations and groundbreaking approach to bebop left a mark on the young trumpeter. But even then, Miles was different. Cooler in tone, more introspective, and already searching for a new sound. By the late 1950s, that sound would become modal jazz. With Kind of Blue in 1959, Miles Davis turned the jazz world on its head. Instead of fast changing chords, modal jazz focused on scales, space, and mood. It was simple in theory, but profoundly expressive in execution. The album, featuring legends like John Coltrane, Bill Evans, and Cannonball Adderley, is now considered a cornerstone of modern jazz. It's not just music, it's a meditation, a revolution, a new language. But Miles never stayed still for long. By the late 1960s, the world and music was changing. Rock was booming, funk was rising, and Miles was listening. He started incorporating electric instruments, Rhodes keyboards, electric bass, amplified trumpet. Purists cried foul, but Davis wasn't aiming to please traditionalists. He was aiming to evolve. Inspired by Jimi Hendrix, Sly Stone, and James Brown, Miles began experimenting with long, improvisational pieces. The sessions for Bitches Brew in 1969 were chaotic, unfiltered, and electric, literally. Guitarist John McLaughlin brought a psychedelic energy, while the rhythm section throbbed with primal funk. The resulting double album shattered jazz conventions. It didn't swing, it pulsed, it roared, it fused. Critics were divided, but the album sold over 500,000 copies and brought new audiences to jazz. Rock and funk musicians took notice. Miles Davis was no longer just a jazz icon. He was a prophet of sonic possibility. Miles's fusion period lit a fire across the musical landscape. He opened the door for others to walk through, and walk they did. Former bandmates like Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, and Joe Zawinul launched their own explorations. Hancock's Headhunters, Weather Report's Heavy Weather, and Return to Forever's Electric Journeys owe everything to the sonic maps Miles drew. Fusion wasn't just about electrification, it was about deconstruction, tearing down the walls between genres. Funk grooves met jazz harmonies, rock energy collided with African polyrhythms. It was chaotic, yes, but alive. And through it all, Miles remained the touchstone. He wasn't just chasing trends, he was creating them. Even after his passing in 1991, Miles Davis continues to echo through modern music. Hip-hop artists sample him. Neo-soul and R&B acts channel his cool. Film composers borrow his modal minimalism. His work laid the foundation for genre-bending artists like Kamasi Washington, Robert Glasper, and even Kendrick Lamar. The evolution of jazz today still walks the path that Miles blazed. He once said, "Don't play what's there, play what's not there. That ethos remains at the heart of innovation across music, art and culture. Of course, Miles Davis was more than just a musician. He was a persona, mysterious, defiant, stylish. He dressed like a rock star, drove Ferraris and never apologized for who he was. He broke racial boundaries in a segregated America. He challenged the status quo in music. He was notoriously difficult, often aloof and abrasive, but that too was part of the art. His fashion sense was trailblazing. Bold colours, futuristic shades, leather jackets and tailored suits. In a world of conformity, Miles represented fearless individuality, and that spirit lives on, not just in jazz, but in any artist who dares to defy expectations, chase new sounds and rewrite the rules. From bebop to fusion, from cool jazz to electric chaos, Miles Davis was more than a musician. He was a movement. He didn't just play music, he reinvented it. And in doing so, he inspired generations to explore, to push and to never settle. This has been Jazz Inspires. If Miles Davis's journey moved you, subscribe for more deep dives into the legends who shaped the soundtrack of our world. Until next time, keep listening and keep creating.